We are going to take a look now at New Jersey's race for Governor Mikey Sherrill beating out Jack Ciattarelli. And looking at the key issues that shaped this year's gubernatorial race, the one that affected every New Jersey household was the cost of energy and the energy crisis. Joining us now is Jeanette Hoffman, president of Marathon Public Affairs and host of On New Jersey's Energy Matters. Jeanette has spent the past year talking with industry experts, policymakers, and community leaders about the future of New Jersey's energy landscape, from affordability and reliability to clean energy investment. Good morning, Jeanette. Good to see you.
Hi, guys. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, we're good. We're good. I don't know. You probably didn't get much sleep either. Let's first, before we get into energy, just, Mikey Sherrill, Jack Ciattarelli, going into it, we were reporting everybody neck and neck, but this was, a 13% margin that Mikey Sherrill beat Jack Ciattarelli. I just want to get your reaction to the numbers from last night.
Yeah. I mean, listen, nobody predicted that big of a margin for Mikey Sherrill. I think one poll, the Zogby poll, like last week, had it that big, and everybody kind of laughed that off because everyone thought it was going to be a nail biter. It was neck and neck, down to the wire, and then we saw these huge numbers. And I just want to say, Jack Ciattarelli, by 2021 standards, he would have exceeded his vote goal. He would have won. He would have beat Phil Murphy at this point. But Mikey Sherrill really turned out a huge vote margin, specifically in those urban cities and the core Democratic voters. So kudos to her. She really had a big turnout and a big win. I don't think anyone predicted a 13 vote margin for Mikey Sherrill. And so, I think Jack ran a terrific retail campaign. Nobody worked harder for the Republican Party, but in the end, it is Governor-elect Sherrill that we're congratulating this morning. And energy was probably the number one or number two issue. Affordability overall was the umbrella issue, but energy was very specific. And I think Mikey Sherrill was the first one out of the gate holding a press conference saying she is going to freeze energy rates in New Jersey.
Let's see if she could actually do that now, because even Phil Murphy said that's something that he wasn't sure could be done, but maybe she knows something we don't know. And just to emphasize what you had said in terms of what would have happened 4 years ago with these numbers, Jack Ciattarelli gained 122,000 more votes than he had 4 years ago. Remember, he lost by about 80,000 votes 4 years ago, so he would have won ostensibly, as you said, by 43,000 votes if it were a repeat of 4 years ago with the numbers. But yet Mikey Sherrill, as you said, the ground game was huge. She played it kind of close to the vest. She didn't do a lot of appearances on TV. She was on the friendlier outlets like MSNBC, but she didn't do a lot of the more conservative or mainstream outlets. And as a result, I mean, that worked for her. It worked for Biden too in 2020. But it's just interesting to see the numbers that she got, which were astronomical, probably higher than any other person running for governor in the history of New Jersey.
Yeah, and if you look at the exit polls, and if you can believe them, I don't really trust polls at this point in time, given what's just happened. But the exit polls that I saw said 71% of Sherrill voters, so they voted for her because she was against Trump. So these are people who don't really pay attention to actually the issues and are just voting one way, and it was a referendum against President Trump, which, I think is unfortunate because what happens in the State House goes far beyond Washington, D.C. policy. They control our property taxes, our energy bills, as we're talking about, our school funding formula, and so much more that has absolutely nothing to do with what's happening in Washington, D.C. But going back to energy rates, she pledged on day one she is going to freeze energy rates for all New Jersey residents. Now, Jack Ciattarelli would have told you, wait, we don't just want to freeze energy rates because they're 20% higher than they were last year. We want to lower them. And Governor Murphy has said, well, you can't really do that. But let's see if she's going to do it. In the polls, actually, more, again, which if we can trust the polls, more New Jersey voters trusted her to handle energy rates than Jack Ciattarelli. So we'll see if she can do that. She's been very vague on specifics. She said she'll modernize natural gas. I don't know what that means. I don't know if she wants to bring more natural gas onto the grid. Natural gas is very important to keep energy costs down because, as you remember, Phil Murphy didn't bring natural gas onto the grid, so we have to buy it from other states, which makes our energy more expensive, which is contributed to energy rates increasing.
I mean, Jeanette, this is a really complex topic when it comes to the energy challenges in the state. Affordability, of course, that's always the top issue, and it has been. This is nothing new. No matter who's running, that is the number one issue. But can we talk just a little bit about how the energy challenges? It did affect the outcome of the gubernatorial race, and what I mean is, I was taking my one son to go vote, and he's freshman in college. He's like, well, what do the candidates stand for? And I kind of went into that reporter mode, and I would say, well, Jack Ciattarelli is saying this, that, the other, and Mikey Sherrill is saying on day one, I'm going to freeze your energy costs. But again, what does that mean? So can you just talk a little bit about, what does it mean? I mean, now, she's won. You've got to roll your sleeves up and get to it. It really just isn't as easy, even if you can wave a magic wand and, freeze energy costs. Really isn't that easy. It's a lot of layers, a lot more complex.
Yeah, it's very complex. And Mikey Sherrill has said she's going to tell all the utility companies. So that's, your JCP&L, your PSE&G, your First Energy, all those companies that you see on your energy bill, right? She's going to tell them you have to freeze your energy costs, right? And not increase them anymore to residents and customers. But that's not that easy because they're not the ones who are charging the rates. They're just buying the energy off the grid, right? So, they're just passing along the cost to the consumers. And I've had on my show the president of the New Jersey Utilities Association. He said, don't blame the people who are billing you, right? They're just the utility companies. They are not the ones who are they're not the ones. They have to buy the energy somewhere. New Jersey used to be an energy exporter, right? We had so much energy. Right now we're in energy deficit. We have to buy it from other states. So for example, we are buying energy from West Virginia because they have a ton of energy. Unfortunately, it's coal, which is not exactly the cleanest source of energy. But Governor Murphy, he shut down natural gas, he shut down nuclear, and he really wanted offshore wind because the environmentalists said that is the cleanest source of energy. But as you know, we don't have offshore wind. He bet it all on offshore wind. We don't have that. We don't have solar. So we're in a deficit right now. We have to buy it. It's a supply and demand issue. We have to buy it for a more expensive rate. So I don't know how she's going to tell the utility companies you can't provide it for any higher than this amount when they have to buy it from other places. So it's very complex, and I'm not really sure how she's going to do it. But I think New Jersey voters were just happy to have somebody talking about it.
All right. Jeanette Hoffman, president of Marathon Public Affairs, host of ONNJ Jersey's Energy Matters. Thank you for coming on this morning. We all need a nap now.
I certainly do. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Thank you.